New footage has come out.
Tehina Paopao, she hacked Caitlin Clark. Her arm is like being grabbed by Tehina Paopao and she does take it off.
Then Caitlin did a little pushback. The hand is there. I mean, what do you want her to do? Ref not calling the grab. This is a foul, okay? This is a foul.
The footage doesn't lie, and this time it exposes everything. Just 2 minutes ago, brand new video hit the internet.
Watch this. Now this is it right here.
Revealing what fans have been screaming about for weeks: blatant referee bias against Caitlin Clark.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
We're talking no calls on obvious fouls.
One of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug,
Push-off accusations that don't hold up under slow-mo, and defenders literally clinging to her like it's the NFL.
This happens a lot. There's a lot of times that guards are working the defenders off of them, especially if a defender has a hand on their side, on their jersey, on their arm, anything. You are allowed to kind of swipe and get the defenders off of you.
While the league turns a blind eye, the evidence keeps piling up. And this clip might be the final straw. Is the WNBA protecting its veterans at the expense of its biggest rookie star?
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
The WNBA is physical, and she just needs to get over it.
Or are we witnessing a full-on campaign to silence Clark's dominance? Get ready, because what you're about to see changes everything.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
Let's break down what this new footage really shows and why it's such a game changer.
Let's watch the play here.
To reset things.
As you can see, she dribbles over to the wing, pushes off a little bit, and hits that three. Now, if you slow things down and if you actually go frame by frame, you can see that Paopao had two hands on Caitlin. It wasn't just a one-hand hand check. She was kind of grabbing her with two hands.
The clip captures a heated play between Caitlin Clark and Paopao, where Clark is accused of pushing off to create space for a shot. At first glance, that's the narrative we've been fed. Clark always pushes off. Social media ran wild with that take.
In the comment section, we saw a lot of people saying, oh, Caitlin Clark has to push off. Caitlin always pushing off of her defenders.
But slow that footage down, and everything flips. You clearly see Paopao grabbing Caitlin around the waist, holding her back with both hands before Clark even begins her move.
Caitlin is past Tehina Paopao here. Tehina Paopao is stopping her with her arms. Her arms like this on the jersey, stopping her. There is an arm extension. Because she's in such bad defensive position, is already, look at her where her feet is before the contact. She's throwing herself out of the play anyway.
This wasn't basketball defense. It looked more like ballroom dancing. Paopao's arms were wrapped around Caitlin's hips so tight.
Paopao is on her. Paopao grabs her hip. You see here. So Caitlin's trying to blow by Tehina Paopao. Like, Tehina Paopao is not a good enough defender to play flat like this. Two hands on Caitlin Clark's jersey. Then she goes around the hip. Caitlin shoots from so far back. Oh my God.
It looked like they were auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. And here's the kicker. The referee standing in plain view saw it all and said nothing. Not a whistle, not a call, just silence. That's what sparked outrage from fans, coaches, and analysts alike.
Paopao was holding her. Paopao had the foul first, man. Paopao grabbed CC with both hands to keep her from blowing past her, and people be about a push-off.
Even on the fever bench, assistant coach Stephanie White and veteran January were caught on camera, visibly frustrated, jumping out of their seats and calling out the refs.
This is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. Like, this is not just a hand check. This is a double jersey grab.
WNBA referees that is making it so damn hard for them to make the right calls at the right moment.
They saw what everyone with eyes could see. Clark was fouled first. When you watch that footage, you realize Caitlin didn't deliver some forceful shove. It wasn't a malicious move. It was a natural reaction to being held.
Look, the angle shows it that, like I said, Paopao was fouling Caitlin.
She used a light hand movement to create space, nothing more. No full extension, no aggressive push, just a response to clear her body from being illegally grabbed. That's not an offensive foul.
It's not an offensive foul, and if it's an offensive foul, the offensive foul comes way after the defensive foul. Even if it wasn't for the hand, I don't think that that's enough of a push-off to call an offensive foul, especially when the defensive player is off balance.
That's called survival on the court. And the fact that the refs ignored the original contact shows the deeper issue fans have been talking about. Clark isn't just being defended, she's being targeted, and officials are letting it happen. This one clip doesn't just reveal a missed call, it confirms a growing concern. Caitlin Clark is being officiated differently. Whether it's because she's a rookie, a rising star, or because the league isn't ready for her spotlight, the refs are letting things slide that wouldn't fly if the roles were reversed.
The WNBA referees are terrible. The one-sided calls against Caitlin are so obvious and disgusting. They're ruining the game. If the referees do not get this whole situation together with this Caitlin Clark thing, fans is finna stop watching this sport.
Now let's talk about what this footage really reveals beyond just one missed call. What we're seeing is a clear pattern, a dangerous double standard that's been haunting Caitlin Clark from the moment she stepped foot in the WNBA.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
This isn't just about one defender holding her during a step back or one ref swallowing the whistle. No, this is part of a much larger issue, one where the rules of the game seem to shift depending on who's holding the ball and what name is on the back of the jersey. Watch any recent game featuring Caitlin Clark and you'll see it. She's being grabbed, bumped, pushed, elbowed, even tackled at times.
Why is that? New year, Caitlin Clark still getting assaulted though, bruh. Why is we back here? That's what I'm not getting, bro. We're back with the same situation again, bro, over and over and over again. One fan stated she has yet to shoot a single free throw. Yes, bro, I bet y'all didn't even know that.
It's almost like some players treat her presence on the court as a personal challenge. The physicality she faces goes well beyond what's normal in professional basketball. But what's even worse, the refs are letting it happen over and over again. And when she tries to fight through it, when she reacts or protects herself, she's the one who gets penalized. Remember the flagrant fouls earlier in the season? The unnecessary hits? The blatant body checks that went uncalled? And now this, clear footage of Pow Pow clutching Caitlin around the waist, impeding her movement, and yet not a single whistle. But the moment Clark dares to push back slightly to get free, the narrative becomes she's always pushing off. It's twisted. The league's brightest young star is being held to a different standard, one that's costing her not only fair calls, but also public perception. And the media? Some outlets have bought into this anti-Clark storyline, recycling phrases like, Caitlin gets superstar treatment.
She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action. The Indiana Fever did finish the WNBA preseason undefeated. Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year.
Or, she plays too physical. But here's the truth. She's being punished for her skill and popularity. Instead of embracing the attention and talent she brings to the league, it feels like some players, coaches, and yes, even refs are trying to knock her down a peg, as if success should come with a price. This bias doesn't just affect her, it affects the game. When the referees ignore fouls like the one in the footage, it tilts the balance. It gives defenders a green light to play dirty, knowing the whistle won't blow. It discourages fair competition and promotes a style of play where aggression replaces skill. And worst of all, it sends a message to younger players and fans watching that the league isn't about fairness, it's about favoritism. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for equal treatment. If any other player was grabbed like that, they'd get the call.
Caitlin Clark's statue, in order for them to gain separation, they kind of stick their forearm out there because they're getting bear hugged. The other defensive player won't let them cut across to the lane.
Caitlin Clark, her arm is like being grabbed by Tina Paopao, and she does take it off.
She's trying to gain separation to shoot a three.
But I've never, this is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. This is a vet move by Paopao. I have to say, this is a vet move by Paopao.
If Caitlin does it, she gets crucified. That's the double standard. In this video, this footage is just the latest piece of undeniable evidence. It proves that the refs aren't missing these calls by accident. They're choosing not to make them. So what does all this lead to? What are the real consequences of this ongoing bias against Caitlin Clark? Let's be clear, it's not just about missed fouls or lost possessions. This is starting to shape the entire trajectory of Caitlin's rookie season, and it's having ripple effects across the league. First, let's talk performance. When a player has to constantly fight through contact that never gets called, it changes how they play the game. Caitlin's known for her quickness, her ability to create space, and her basketball IQ.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger. It's very clear that she is rusty. She is very, very rusty. And it's also, we are seeing teams throw multiple different coverages at her in preseason.
But when defenders are allowed to grab her, wrap her up, and basically play tackle defense with no repercussions, it forces her to alter her timing, her decision-making, and her rhythm. And that's exactly what some of these defenders want. If they can't stop her with skill, they'll try to slow her down with force, and the refs are letting it happen. Second, the emotional toll is real. Think about it. Caitlin Clark is one of the most hyped rookies in WNBA history.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. I'm so happy. I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
She brought millions of new fans to the league, shattered jersey sales, and filled arenas. But instead of being celebrated, she's being met with hostility, not just from defenders, but from within the system that's supposed to protect the integrity of the game. When the officials consistently let physical abuse go unchecked and then penalize the victim for reacting, it sends a demoralizing message. It tells players like Caitlin, you don't get to have it both ways. If you're going to shine, we're going to make you pay for it. And let's not ignore the bigger picture, the damage to the WNBA's reputation. The league is on the verge of a massive breakthrough, with stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others drawing attention like never before. The WNBA has a golden opportunity to explode in popularity, but instead, stories of referee bias, unfair treatment, and inconsistent calls are taking center stage. That's not just bad optics, it's bad business. When fans see obvious fouls ignored and players like Caitlin being targeted without accountability, it erodes trust. It makes the league look amateurish, one-sided, and political. And fans, especially new ones, won't stick around for that. What happened in that video clip isn't just a small moment. It's symbolic of everything wrong with how Caitlin Clark is being officiated.
She's going up against Pow Pow and she does a step back three. She hits it, but the internet is going wild for this because they are complaining about her pushing off with her left arm.
See that? Do the step back. She had to step back because she knew she didn't have any area here. See, this is the photo that went viral.
She's being forced to play with one hand tied behind her back, while the league claims to support parity and fairness. And let's not forget, these aren't isolated incidents. Game after game, she's been hit, bumped, shoved, and even elbowed in the face, and yet the whistle stays silent. How many more clips like this need to surface before someone in the WNBA office takes responsibility? Until the officiating is fixed, the narrative will remain the same. The league's biggest rising star is being held back, not by defenders, but by the very system meant to protect her.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So there you have it. Undeniable footage, clear evidence, and one glaring truth. Caitlin Clark is being held to a completely different standard, and it's costing the game its integrity. This isn't just about a missed call. It's about fairness, accountability, and the future of the WNBA. Fans see it.
A fan took this iPhone footage of the Indiana Fever doing a workout after that game against the Atlanta Dream. And it was Caitlin, it was Brianna Turner, Jaylen Brown, and Natasha Howard. They were working out in the hallway and just doing some simple lifting. And then also you can see here, Sophie Cunningham comes out of the locker room and she is wearing a boot. So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Players feel it, and now the cameras have caught it. How many more clips like this need to go viral before the league finally steps up? If the WNBA wants to grow, if it wants to keep the millions of new fans that Caitlin Clark has brought to the sport, then it needs to clean this up fast. Because biased officiating isn't just unfair, it's embarrassing. Caitlin deserves better.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
The game deserves better. And honestly, we all do. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this a push-off or a clear foul on Pow Pow? Are the refs really targeting Caitlin? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you're tired of the double standards, and don't forget to subscribe for more real talk and breakdowns you won't get anywhere else. Until next time, stay sharp, stay honest, and keep calling out the bias.